back once again with Stephen Starr, the extraordinary group of restaurants and the expansion. You got Atlantic City, you got New York, you got Philadelphia. Where else are you going?
We're building right now in Fort Lauderdale at the W Hotel. We're doing a restaurant and all the food and beverage there. We're finished a lease deal in Miami for Budokan. And we have signed letters of intent for Las Vegas, Budokan, and a yet-to-be-determined steak concept.
How far back did you know you were going to go down this road with Budokan and beyond as well? I mean, 5 years ago, did you have a game plan saying, I'm going to take it to South Florida, I'm going to take it out to Vegas, I'm going to do this?
No, I still don't. I don't have a game plan, much to the dismay of our investors and banks. When I first started, I was in the music business before I did this, and I sold my company to my competitor. I was a concert promoter, did Madonna, big shows like that. Mm-hmm. And I just started out having a need to do something. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I found this little diner in Philadelphia, and I thought it'd be a nice $100,000 a year income for me. Mm-hmm. I had a restrictive covenant. I couldn't compete. And that was a smashing success. After that, we did Budokan, and I really never had a plan. I just went on my instinct and what I thought would be the next coolest thing that people would like, and it just grew from that.
Well, I mean, everybody thinks that restaurants would be cool to have. Everybody always hears that the restaurant business is just about the most brutal, tough business there is out there. How did you make it a go? I mean, so many people tank.
Yes, I mean, I believe a lot of it, and I'm very fortunate and lucky and thanking whoever up there for my success. But what it is, it's perseverance and an incredible intensity that most people can't maintain.
Did you do research beforehand? I mean, did you go and take a look at what worked and what didn't work? Did you try to figure out, how do you figure out how to price things, all that sort of stuff?
Right. Well, in Philadelphia, there was very little in terms of nightlife and restaurants, believe it or not, back in the early 90s. So I traveled, I went to Europe, I've been to New York, of course, a million times, Los Angeles, and I saw that there was a big, big void in New York City, in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So I started that way. I mean, came up with an idea for an Asian concept. There was nothing Asian in Philly. Mm-hmm. I knew it was the next big thing in terms of food. Everyone likes Asian food. And I filled a void. What I added to the equation that even places in New York didn't have was this extra attention to design. In terms of learning pricing and all that, no, I made plenty of mistakes, priced things wrong, didn't understand P&Ls, but I learned, and I learned from my mistakes and slowly built an organization.
Did you know how you wanted the restaurant to look? Did you go looking for a designer of any sort of, prominence?
I always have a vision of what I think the restaurant should look like, but I recognize my limitations in terms of design. But I have good instincts about design. So I think probably my biggest talent is to be able to find the designer whose background and repertoire fit my vision. Certain designers can't do certain things. So I think that I have chosen the right designers to fulfill this thing I have in my head that I couldn't do on my own. But I have some good ideas of what it should be. And that's how that process starts.
How do you get the word out when you open up a restaurant? I mean, you promoting rock artists, is it anywhere similar?
Yes. I believe, when I would do a show, if I would do a big concert, whether it be Madonna or Steve Winwood or the Eurythmics or U2, I couldn't sleep the night before because I knew when those tickets went on sale at 10 a.m., by 10:06, I knew if it were a hit or not. You could tell by I used to look at the computer as the tickets sold. And same thing with the restaurants. I know from the moment the door opens if it's a hit or not.
Really? First, I mean, because one gets the sense that if you could, in a restaurant, talking about Broadway shows before as well, you could have a full house the first night, but if word of mouth isn't good, that, could trickle off very quickly. That's not necessarily the case?
No. It's true. In other words, many restaurants open and they want this slow build. Like, we have to build our business, and it takes time to win those customers over. Where I say that's bull. Yeah. I say, if they're not there the first night, you're dead. So it's my goal through word of mouth, buzz, design, marketing, to fill the restaurant immediately. I tell my people that work for me, my job is to fill the restaurant with customers. It's your job to make sure the service is good the food's good. Of course, that's all my job, but I tell them that sort of as a...
Well, you're delegating it because you're
Yes.
bringing in. For
Yeah,
instance,
I can bring them in.
how do you decide who your head chef's going to be?
Well, you go through a process of, I mean, for instance, this last restaurant that we opened in Philadelphia, we did tastings for it with 37 different chefs, and we whittled it down to 2. And
It's kind of like an audition.
it's an audition.
Yeah.
And at number 33, we had no one good. We were freaking out. Yeah, it was really scary. Like, we didn't have anyone that we believed in. Because the food's got to be good. That's first and foremost. And in addition to that, this person, guy or woman, has to have an administrative ability to run a big operation.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Yeah, because that also you're delegating the running of the kitchen staff to the head chef, right? Wow.
Absolutely.
Have you ever gotten somebody you didn't think you were going to be able to get?
Chef-wise?
Yeah. I mean, look, somebody out there, I don't know exactly how this is intriguing to me, how that part of the business works. Is there like a wish list of people you'd like to get, and you try to pluck them, and you say, I never thought we'd be able to get him?
There's a wish list of chefs that none of you would know who they are, but I do, because they have reputations. In terms of Morimoto, the Iron Chef, who I have a joint venture with, that's a guy that I had wanted and really wanted and didn't know if I was going to be able to get him, and I got him, and it's been a true success story.
When you came to New York, any big surprises? Anything? I mean, as much as you know this area and you know the business, did anything about the New York experience surprise you?
When I came to New York, I was scared, really scared, because being from Philadelphia, I had just anticipated the journalists and the public to an extent, because the public just follows what the journalists say, looking at me as sort of this second-rate Philly guy. You know, he's a big fish in a small pond there, and now he's going to come to New York and get his butt kicked. And I knew that was going to happen. So,
well, you know what? I love cliffhangers.
Okay.
So we're going to take our break right now, and then you'll engage in I told you so kind of stuff with some of the critics, I'm sure.
Okay, great.
Back in a moment. Stephen Starr is our guest. Don't go away.